It's Artfight season! Salutations! I'm Silver Fae, the friendly sylph of storms, and an aspiring artist and author. If you're new to the court, welcome in, and if you're returning, welcome back. For Artfight this year, I decided to do visual novel style attacks, so I needed quotes for characters. Which means my method of picking out targets had to change. So, I made a Google form for people to fill out. Now, let's see how many responses we got. First up on the attack list this year is Japan by Chimney. I chose Japan because I liked how pretty and simple her design was. It felt like a great starting point for my Artfight journey this year. She also fit my style really well, and I had an idea for what pose and expression I wanted to give her right away. You see, Japan is an alien from another planet, and she first arrived on Earth as an invader, dead set on conquering Earth. However, she was challenged by a mortal boy who called himself Earth's protector. She lost her arm during the battle and was forced to retreat. Given Japan's backstory, I wanted to give her a confrontational pose and an irritated expression. I also drew her in a human disguise because I imagined that in this scenario, she's returned to Earth but has done so in secret in order to seek revenge. Now, when I first started, I wasn't planning on designing individual speech cards, but I got to the end and decided that it would be a little more personable if I did. So for Japan's speech card, I went digital and did a little sci-fi aesthetic with it too. That thought process is also what prompted my choice for the dialogue box font. Next is Amorous by Iridescent Hourglass. Amorous caught my eye immediately. I loved her energy, and it was perfect for me to try out a more dynamic and energetic pose with. I also love her design. Now, Amorous is a shark maid with a penchant for anything glittery and shiny. There is more to her character than that, but that's what I chose to focus on, especially in light of the quote I was given. She also has an underlying intensity to her, so with the visual novel animations, I had her get closer to the camera to try and portray that. I was able to style and design a new outfit for Amorous, as her creator allows it and encourages you to do so when drawing her. I stuck with her blue and white color palette though, because it seemed the safest and it was the most frequent palette in artworks of her. I put her hair up in a ponytail that's cinched at the bottom in order to mimic a fishtail. As a cheeky little nod to her shark nature, I thought it would be funny to have her visiting an aquarium for her background, which also gave me an opportunity to do some interesting backlighting. For her speech card, I did some fish patterns and I gave the box a bubbly kind of look with some round corners. Then I used some bubbly font for her dialogue. After Amorous, I picked Valerian by Supernova. To be honest, the fact that he was a Victorian Western cowboy elf is what got my attention. I also was on the hunt for a male character because I needed to practice drawing men, so that also helped in my decision. Now, Valerian's character, of course, doesn't stop at being a Victorian-era fantasy cowboy. He's a nomad who comes from a long line of ranchers and farmers, though as it is in the West, his family's farm was struggling to stay afloat. In an attempt to help them, he got himself into trouble trying to earn money, which eventually led to his estrangement from them. Now he travels, spending his time helping folks and learning about other languages. Now, I'm not going to pretend I tried to pull all of that off in his pose. The idea I had was pretty simple and fit the quote I was given. I did, however, design his weapon. I hadn't drawn something like that in a while, and I really enjoyed adding the little details. For his speech card, I designed it around the Western background, and I drew a cactus in there for good measure, in case it wasn't Western enough. Then I found the most Western font I could and used that for his dialogue. After Valerian, I continued to challenge myself by picking Julia by Scout Scoodles as my next target. It had been years since I last drew an anthropomorphic character, and I wanted to try my hand at it again. And I don't think I did too shabby. I like Julia's design a lot. It's simple but effective, and I feel like it's really practical given her profession as a mechanic. For her pose, I wanted something friendly and open, and I felt like positioning her hand in an offering gesture created more interest visually. It still isn't the most interesting pose. In fact, most of these aren't, but it's better than something completely static. I went for a comic panel burst as the background and tried to personalize her speech card around mechanical stuff. Her name tag actually has screws in the corner, but you sadly can't see it very well. I should have exaggerated it more. For her font, I picked out something round and soft, but I didn't want to reuse the bubble font since I had already used it for Emerus. And now, we find ourselves at the last Artfight attack of the year. I wanted to end off on a character that was right up my alley, and Dizzy by Potato Place was just what I needed. I love fantasy and reading, so what could be better than a book-loving goblin? I also loved her design, especially the flora pattern on her shirt. It's so lovely and elegant, and helped to pull in all the other colors in the design. Her pose was an easy concept, but a little bit harder in execution for me because I had to figure out the angle of the books and her hand. But that's what references are for. I made her expression friendly, but somewhat nervous because she's trying to be reassuring. Most everyone in the village down the road is terrified of her, just because she's a goblin, so she lives alone in a cave nearby, but she made a cozy home of it. For her speech card, I did some faint book outlines and chose a font that is reminiscent of handwriting. And those are all of my attacks for this year. I had a lot of fun doing these visual novel style props and scenes, but I don't think I'll be doing it again. For Artfight at least. It put a lot of stress on me because I felt like I had to draw a background for each and every attack. And I don't draw backgrounds very often. I need to, but I don't. So next year, I think I'll curb my expectations of myself and go with the flow. I might even prioritize attacking folks who attacked me this year. I didn't get to do any revenge attacks, sadly, but I love each and every piece of art I received. So thank you so much to everyone who attacked me, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate you sticking around till the end. If you liked the video, please hit that like button, and if you'd like to share your own experiences with Artfight or just make comments on when you think of my artwork in the video, please comment below. I always love hearing your thoughts. Bye-bye!